Alright, so one thing you're going to have to do is turn over your sprocket so that on the sprocket cover it's turned over, and it will align your rear sprocket with your front sprocket. That way your chain is straight. So that's something you need to do. The ZX7 pivot bolt is this outer one right here, and the RSV one is right there. What I did is, the RSV pivot bolt has this hexagonal section right here that has for the bolt to mount onto, or the wrench to hold onto on the RSV. What I did is I just rounded mine off and shaved it off, and then I cut on the, this is an L model pivot bolt. This is a P model pivot bolt. What I did is I cut off the hexagonal piece right here, and then I just bored it out so that it fit all the way through. The RSV pivot bolt fit through the ZX7 one, and then the ZX7 one is the same thickness or the same length as the thickness of the frame. So basically I slid it in, marked it, and then cut it off. With the P model one, what you can do is, if you can get it to fit in there, then you can slide the hole. Then you can bore out the hole so it's 20 millimeters, and then slide it in, and then get your hexagonal piece that's right here on the RSV pivot bolt to slide in there, and then you just thread it in as far as it needs to go in, mark it, and then cut it, and then you have a spacer right there. And what you can do is, if you know how to cut it properly, you can make it so that you can bring it in and out. Just slide it this way and that way, and that will allow you to adjust the swing arm just a little bit if your measurements are off. I'll show you the other side in a second. The shock, I pushed out the RSV hardened sleeve, pushed in the ZX7 hardened sleeve. They're the same diameter. I'm upside down right now, so you'll probably think I sound like a total dweeb, and then just bolted the whole thing together. There's no lateral movement this way. There's a tiny little bit of up and down vertical movement. That's not a problem. That's within spec. I talk to guys who build bikes, and it's not a problem. I have some adjustable dog bones, but the stock one should work. You shouldn't have a problem with there. The reservoir is going to hit right here, so you need to either get a different shock or work something else out. But fortunately, if you do it like this, it doesn't have to be dead center, because this section right here, you can see I just left it out there, and this is a space. This is the hardened sleeve just acting as a spacer for this right here. It looks exactly the same, and there's no lateral movement at all. On this section right here, what I did is I bored out I tapped threads. It's 20 by 1.5 millimeters. Tapped out the threads for the ZX7 pivot bolt, slid it in long enough, and then cut it off at the back right here so it's the same thickness as the frame, and then put the bolt on this side so it screws onto the ZX7 pivot bolt spacer, and then the RSV pivot bolt is in there. And then I had to put I think a 1 or a 2 millimeter spacer just between the frame and the swing arm, and that works right there just like that. With the rear bolt, since it attaches differently, what I did with mine is I just drilled it in 3 places and then safety wired it to the back. I didn't want this thing to accidentally back off and everything. And
that's pretty much it. So if you have any other questions, let me know.